My 23F girlfriend wants me, 24M, to start sleeping with other women. Hi all. My girlfriend and I have been together almost 2 years now. At the beginning of our relationship we were very sexually active and learning, enjoying each other. About 1 year into our until then perfect relationship she started to experience flashbacks of a previous boyfriend that has abused her sexually. She started to shut down and not communicate with me, our almost nightly phone conversations stopped. Our time spent together decreased drastically, and our sex life abruptly ended. During this time I had no information as to what happened and began to think that either something happened to her or I did something to change our relationship. Finally, after 4 months of me being supportive through almost no communication from her side, talking very lightly, and trying to give her time and space, she sat me down and explained what happened in her previous relationship and that she had bottled it up until a trigger hit. I now understood what had happened, and honestly a selfish thought crossed my mind that the weight was lifted off of my shoulders because I did not cause this. I told her that even though I could not possibly imagine what she is going through, I will always be by her side and support her. Over the past 4-5 months we have been slowly rebuilding. She talked to me about how she feels horrible that none of my needs have been met for the past 8-9 months, and I dismissed this concern. I have an extremely high libido while understandably hers has been extremely low or non-existent. Yesterday she called me and explained that she has been thinking, and wants me to sleep with other women for a temporary amount of time. She explained that she has not been fair to me, and cannot meet my needs right now, but she wants me to fulfill them on my own. I replied that as much as I want to fulfill my needs, I do not want to risk our relationship and I do not want anybody else but her. She then mentioned that she can separate sex with emotions and wants me to think about doing this as a way to alleviate some pressure from her, whereby me fulfilling my needs myself that she cannot. I'm at a loss for words as I never would have expected this, and although the 8-9 months have been extremely hard on me, I cannot begin to imagine how hard they are on her. Has anybody gone through something similar or have any advice to give? Edit to clarify some points. 1. I don't want to sleep with anyone but her. This post was to see if other people have been in a similar situation in the past and how did you work through it or help. 2. I do not live with her, she lives with her parents. 3. I do absolutely want to stay with her and work on things. I am just at a loss of what to do or say and help her with the situation. Tough situation. I suggest she start seeing a therapist, to be honest. But I don't think you should start sleeping with other girls. I don't think it's worth the potential harm to the relationship. She can separate sex with emotions. Tell her that's nice, but you can't. And while you're sorry she's feeling like she's letting you down, you need her to work with her therapist on accepting those feelings don't reflect reality, because pushing you to solve a problem that doesn't actually exist is just going to create new problems. If the lack of sex does start getting to you, you'll tell her, but unless that happens, she needs to take you at your word that it's not and let this go. No real advice except, you sound great to be thinking of her, very loving, caring, and supportive, but you also have to think of yourself. Good luck. You're only 24. Move on and find somebody with some stability to build a life with. She ain't it. Are you 100,000% sure you buy her story? I immediately thought she was dating another guy and just dropped you. The sleeping with other women is really freaking odd and makes me think more that her story is BS. My 24 female husband, 24 male, got a second job. We mysteriously have no more money than before. Several months ago, my husband and I purchased a house. Obviously this mostly drained our savings, and we needed to budget well to repair the home and buy furniture within a reasonable timeline. Actual repairs, not just wanting new home decor. We are relatively comfortable with the jobs we already have, but he wanted to take up a second job. I must stress that this was not necessary and we were perfectly on track to do what we needed with our current income as long as we were careful. I was less than thrilled with this on the basis that he would be gone late nights frequently. I would miss him. I would objectively have to do more housework at our current place and repairing the new house. I can't tell him what to do. I just let him know I didn't think it was necessary. So several months ago he started at basically a food service job. In exchange for him leaving me with some additional housework, he covered an additional bill for me that was relatively insignificant. Not to sound ungrateful, but the math isn't working out here. Prior to this everything was 50-50. I guess I'm confused because aside from him covering a few minimal expenses it is still nearly 50-50. He also has been mentioning over and over that he has to be careful with his money because he has less than me at this point despite making at least $175 more than me a week with his other job. I had a hard time believing he had that much less than me and almost asked him to show me his account because the amount he said he had was not logical. This is not about money really, I can't get over feeling like something is up. His behavior has changed a lot. Half of me thinks he's not working as many hours as he says. I don't necessarily think it's cheating, either. I really don't know. There's the obvious list of things money can go to that he wouldn't want to share with me. Before you say, just talk to him, I have calmly asked him how this is possible and he didn't have a real answer besides, beer and cigarettes. I expressed that I'm legitimately skeptical of that and he just shrugged it off and stuck with that. I somewhat want to check his bank transactions, deposits and withdrawals. But I hate to assume he's lying because he really hasn't before. How do I deal with this? Too long did not read. My husband picked up a part-time job, somehow has less money than me despite us making the same at our day job. I don't know what to think. Even though I trust him, I have a very strange feeling and will be able to elaborate on how his behavior is different in the comments. Edit. Yeah, y'all pretty sure it's coke. Not getting a divorce or anything. We'll work on it. He's your husband and you pay for things together and just bought a house together. Your finances are joined and you have absolute right to access all accounts. If he refuses to show you, this is a huge red flag. Congrats on the second family. My ex makes $8K a month and still never has any money. He has a drug problem. Better to look now and save yourself even bigger issues down the road. Maybe he just thinks that while yes he has extra money now, it should still be 50-50. Do you want it to not be 50-50? Check the transactions, it is not snooping you are married. I, 33 female. Regret combining finances with my husband, 39 male. I've been married to my current husband for 1 year. We combined bank accounts and I regret it and I am becoming very resentful. I want to talk to him about going back to separate accounts but I'm not sure how to actually separate the money. He came into the relationship with about $10,000 and no assets. I came into the relationship with about $300,000 and a lot of assets. We each have 1 kid from a previous relationship and have been together for 3 years, married for 1. Long story short, I was with my late husband for 12 years before he died from cancer. We had 4 small condos that I have since sold. I had to sell 2 of them to pay off medical and credit card debts and mortgage deferral from not working for 2 years while he was sick. I sold another one while married to my current husband. The money from the third one is now mostly gone because he doesn't work and we lived off of that money for 2 years. I put a lot of the money from the sales in a stock account that is in my name only with my son as the beneficiary. I also have a separate stock account for my son that he has access to at 21. Significant other thinks the stock account has both of our names on it, but it doesn't because I've had it since before we got married. His daughter is here 50-50 every other week and she's young and driving her to and from school takes 2-3 hours out of his day because of where he and her mother want her in school. He says, we always have plans, and we have kids, so he doesn't have time to work. I have a seasonal Christmas ornament business that he helps me with and I also own a vacation rental that he does things for like maybe 3x a year. But otherwise I have a manager so not much work for us. I also got Social Security for myself and my son in the form of survivor benefits. I lost mine when I got married, but I still get my son's. I talked to significant other about my concerns over losing that money before getting married and he basically guilt-tripped me by saying that I don't think he's worth it and if I don't want to get married then why am I with him? The resentment is coming in because I had to sell the 4th and last property due to having no money in our bank account. I don't want to give him access to that money, I want to keep it in a separate account. I know he will be upset because when I sold the last condo and put some of the money in a stock account, he got mad at me for not consulting him before doing something with the money. I feel like if the roles were reversed, people would say this is financial abuse. Is it financial abuse? He has a sweet little setup here when he married you. You need to rethink this. It is ultimatum time that he either gets a job or you will need to divorce. Make sure you bring up that you are living off of savings and it is quickly running out. Spell out what the monthly shortfall is and that he needs to make at least that much money. I think he will reluctantly agree but drag his feet on getting an actual job. Move your money out of the joint account. Immediately. Don't bring it up prior and don't feel guilty about doing this. You have a young son to raise and need the money. I believe survivor SS benefits are resumed once you are no longer married. He doesn't have time to work? What? That is utter bullshit. What kind of conversations did you have before marriage? Did you agree to being the only one with a job yet having 2 kids? I think you need to take back your money accounts. This requires a very serious conversation, and I'd also suggest couples therapy because I'm not sure if you should truly be married to him. This is financial abuse. And the wisest thing your significant other ever said was, "Why are you with me?" Because, why are you with him? He's dragging you down and you need to gain control and salvage whatever you can of your self-esteem, your power and your financial future. He's slowly causing you to bleed money and lose any stability you might have had, and then he's guilting you for being aware of this. Do what you have to and let him be mad. Why are you with this guy? You have given up almost all of your financial security for their relationship. Why is your son not your priority? Leave this loser. My roommate, 24M, is having an affair, 29F, and bringing it into our house. So my roommate, 24M, started to talk to a married woman, 29F, at the gym. He found out she was married and still continued to sleep with her. He says she has been unhappy with her relationship for a couple of years now and married too young. She doesn't want to get a divorce because of religion and her parents. At this point, my roommate and this woman are practically dating. She has told him about it and they considered divorce, but instead he prayed and said it's only a rough patch in their relationship. I don't know if this is true. This information is coming from my roommate who has been known to lie. My house has been the place for them to come and hang out, watch TV, cook meals, and sleep together. My other roommate, 25M, and I decided to talk to him saying we feel uncomfortable with him bringing a married woman into our house. This also makes us not feel safe as we are afraid of when the husband finds out. When we expressed our feelings, he said he won't bring her over. We kept the conversation respectable, saying if they want to continue seeing each other they can. We just feel uncomfortable when it takes place in our house when we are around. After the conversation, a few minutes go by and he headed downstairs, passing us, not saying a word, and slams the garage door shut. When he came home I asked, "How was the gym?" No eye contact and no words came from him. Later in the night, we find her shoes at the door and the car parked in front of the place. How do I deal with someone bringing an affair into the home? After saying we aren't comfortable with the current situation, he decides to break more trust and bring them in. How do I deal with his immaturity of him being sneaky and not speaking to us? Small PS, my other roommate and I have decided to not tell the husband because we don't want to get more involved with this situation. Apparently he is aware and doesn't want to do anything about it. Too long did not read. My roommate is bringing a married woman into our house and having an affair. We expressed we felt uncomfortable and he reacted poorly. I'm afraid you don't have a choice but to either remove him from the flat once his lease is up or agree with him to break it, or move on yourselves. His moral bullshit is his concern unfortunately, but if you ever do find a confrontation makes its way into your home, immediately call the police. Damn your flatmate's thoughts or feelings on the matter. Always greet her as, "Hey adulteress, how you doing today?" Greet him as, "Hi homewrecker. Seen any good movies lately?" Realistically, if you don't have the morals to tell her husband, then you're just like an unfit person wishing to be fit but refusing to exercise because it's difficult. Get her car towed. Take her shoe laces out and leave them next to her shoes. Knock loudly on the bedroom door saying, "You were told she isn't allowed here, she needs to leave now." Not necessarily in that order, but she'll understand she isn't welcomed. If the husband is aware, then they can go to her home instead. I have had this scenario in college and it's sucked. Here is a thing that is not my favorite. When W's boyfriend comes to our place looking for her, and I know she's in my male roommate's bed. I'm just like, fuck all y'all, do not bring your drama here. The sad fact is, you have no way to stop your roommate from bringing her in. He has clearly decided that he cares more about his relationship with her than about his relationship with you. What you are really looking for is a way to make him have different priorities, but there's no way to compel that. If you really feel like this woman's husband is a danger, then you and your other roommate should be focusing on ways to end the roommate situation. Morality aside, if he pays rent and has his name on the lease, then it's not really your business. Do you own this house? If not, then it is not your business.